What's up, Tampa? It is Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, and it is time for the Let's Go Low show right here on AM 820, the Big 8. This is Jeff Stanislaw, your host with Golfers Unite, and it's Caddie Corner time with my friend Mike Hicks. Mike was formerly Payne Stewart's caddy. Today, we're going to talk about a hot topic that broke recently, and that's the changes going at the PGA Tour. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm good, Jeff. Doing great. Hope you are.
Yeah, fantastic. So we're, in the midst of some changes from the PGA Tour. Recently, they announced that they are kind of breaking up the tour into two, categories. They're going to have a championship series and a challenger series, and kind of mixing it up a little bit. So the championship is going to have 23 to 24 events with 4 majors, and the challenger is going to have 20 events, and there's going to be some cool stuff around that. What are your thoughts just taking a step back on the PGA making a change like this? Is it needed? Should they have left it alone? We can talk a little bit further about the details on the changes, but just overall the shakeup that's going on.
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, but golf is not like any other sport. Baseball, basketball, football. You have to play golf to be sharp. So I'm just worried that the product the level of golf and the quality of golf. I mean, you look at Live. I mean, those guys play 15 events, and the ones that are fortunate enough to play in the majors, that's 19. And it's just hard to stay sharp. You're not playing. You got to play 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row to really peak, so to speak, with your golf swing and your golf game. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But the model wasn't broken that they had. And I think that some of these sponsors are going to go away. It'll be interesting to see. 20 events for the lower tier, for the challenge tour, so to speak.
That's not enough.
That's not enough. That's exactly. So what it says to me is that they only got 20 sponsors that are committed to doing that tier. I'm sure they're hoping they're going to get another 8 or 10 that'll sign on, but who knows? And another question is, where's all this money coming from? Where are they getting the money?
Yeah,
I think it's this new TV deal that's going to be signed. That the networks are going to stick it to them. You watch, because they stuck it to the networks the last TV deal.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. To me, the formula wasn't broken. So I don't know. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I think part of it, just taking a step back as a golf fan, and I think there was kind of a lot of confusion of what is what. I do understand probably having the 2 series is maybe easier for a lot of average golfers to really understand, because there was confusion over the last couple of years. What type of event is this? Is this, a big event? Is it a small event? Now the championship and the challenger series kind of make sense from a simplicity standpoint. This is Jeff Stanislaw. You're listening to Let's Go Low right here on AM 820. Our special guest, Mike Hicks, Payne Stewart's caddy, is with us. Brought to you by Golfers Unite, golfersunite.com. And if you guys want to check it out, you get free deals, free opportunities. Get the hookups at golfersunite.com. And for $30, you can get a lot more. So, Mike, just kind of on that thing, making it simpler. I do like that aspect. And I think you're right in regards to what's going on here locally. They moved the Valspar back until mid to late May of 2027. I am pretty confident that Valspar is not happy with that, because as the sponsor, Valspar sells paint. to consumers.
Yeah.
And you think spring, you think painting, right? You think, I'm going to paint my house this spring and what have you, but you're probably not in the same mindset in mid-May. It's summertime, it's going into summertime. So I'm sure they weren't exactly thrilled with that. But it's done, and you got to make the best of it. One thing that I thought was interesting that they did, in the two series, the championship series and the challenger series, is they're bringing relegation to the game, similar to soccer. What are your thoughts on relegations where players get moved up and moved down, from these championship to challenger series and vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a good way to do it. I mean, there's got to be some level of demotion, so to speak. I mean, if you don't perform, you get sent down. I mean, I think that's possibly a good way to do it. To touch back on your Valspar thing, and listen, mid-May is a bad month as far as grass, right? You're in transition. They overseed that golf course. A lot of don't they overseed the fairways there for that tournament?
Oh yeah, they prep.
So you're going to be in transition there, where the Bermuda's trying to choke out the overseed, and if you don't catch a very warm month of April and early May, you're going to have issues as far as the grass goes. You're going to have one grass fighting another, and it's not going to be pretty. And the fact that I don't know what the schedule is going to look like, but Valspar, they had a pretty good date there. They right after wasn't it right after TPC?
Yep. Right after the Players Championship.
Those guys, most of those guys, could fit that in because it is such a good venue. Those guys like playing, tougher golf courses and where it's not a putting contest. And, they always had good fields down there. I don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But, as far as looking at the timing of it all, could be an issue as far as the golf course and the grass.
They swapped the Cadillac for the Valspar.
The Cadillac. What's the Cadillac?
So the Cadillac is the one at Doral.
Oh, at Doral. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That was just came back in this year, right?
Yeah.
Now, is Valspar going to be a one of the 23 or 24?
They haven't announced everything yet in regard
Okay.
to whether it's a championship or a challenger event.
Okay.
So, but I know, especially like with the Cadillac at Doral, and I know it's got, some good panache, but it just came back last year for the first time. So I was thinking that they would probably, let it ride for another year or two, and then maybe make the changes in 2028 where this whole championship Challenger series is set to take place. I don't think they should have done it for 2027. I think they should have let it stand. But it is what it is. And then I do love the idea about the relegation. Having players move up and players move down based on play is a fantastic idea. You're listening to Let's Go Low on AM 820 right here in Tampa. It's brought to you by golfersunite.com and our friend Mike Hicks, who always does the Caddie Corner. If you want to check out his website, it's MikeHicksGolf.com. And Mike is also, available for teaching. He could be a guest, a VIP on your bag at an event. If you want some more information, you can go to MikeHicks.com, MikeHicksGolf.com. So Mike, kind of talking on that regulation. Now, here's the challenge that I see for the younger golfers. We all know that, getting your tour card, they're shrinking that. Now they have 20 challenger events. There's been no announcements on the Corn Ferry Tour in regards to this. My thoughts are that possibly the Corn Ferry is coming up for contract. They're positioning it for a change. But with that being said, and you can talk a little bit further on that. The emerging golfer is going to have a harder time, with these limited number of tour cards available and limited number of events available to get in. I'm at least hoping like every one of these Challenger series has Monday qualifiers for some spots. What are your thoughts?
I mean, look, there are so many people trying to make a living playing golf now. So many people trying to play professional golf, and they're limiting places to play. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, it's very difficult for a kid that's been dreaming since he was single digits to play professional golf, and now they're making that dream harder and harder, in my opinion, to make the ultimate goal and make it out there. Now you can say this, well, the good players will make it, and that's true. But golf is such a fickle game. I mean, if you don't get the opportunity, I mean, listen, these qualifiers and getting to, getting a card, whether it's Korn Ferry or PGA Tour, back in the day when you had the qualifying school, but now it's Korn Ferry, it's a crapshoot. And if you don't have it that week, which how golf is, I mean, sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't.
Right.
You might be going into it playing great and then just be a little off and miss. Now you got to wait a whole nother year. It's very difficult. The old cliche, it's difficult to get out there, but once you do, if you can play, it's easy to stay. And that's true. So I don't know, man. I mean, to me, the system wasn't broken. Liv threw a freaking wrench into everything. And they've hired this NFL guy to run the PGA Tour. Well, this ain't the NFL. I can't believe they didn't get a golf person in, like a Peter Jacobson or, now Peter's, almost 70 years old now. He's late 60s, I think. But somebody that played professional golf and knows the golf industry to run the tour. And now they've got this NFL guy that's trying to change it to a model of the NFL where you're playing, limited number of tournaments. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's interesting in regards to their choice in that selection, and I'm all for change and what have you and doing something new, but you got to have someone that has the experience, be a part of it, and so we'll see how that shakes out. But they are doing some good things. The relegation, so the top 90 championship players keep their status. And then 20 promoted are up from the Challenger each year. So, you got to keep that going. But the purse on the Challenger series has went to $4 million. So, I think that is good. And $20 million on the championship series is what they're doing. But it's, it's simple supply and demand. And I don't know if it really works in golf. Like you look at baseball, whatever, 163 games, and it's a long season and what have you. And, you look at football and, you got whatever, 16, 20 weeks of football. So I think they're trying to kind of supply and demand it, right? You shrink the field, you create more demand and create more buzz around it. But back to your previous statement, which I think is very valuable, is these guys need to play golf.
Yeah.
And they need to play a lot of golf because golf comes in ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
You got something going on with your driver and it's not working the way it is. It takes, 4 to, whatever, maybe 3 to 5 tournaments to get your driver back into shape. Then all of a sudden, if there's too big of gaps, and then you're struggling, once again. So I think your comment is spot on there. As far as the number of playing, what, in general, what are your thoughts on, if you're a younger player, what would you recommend them here to do?
Well, it'll also be interesting to see what they do with the DP World Tour, right? Are they is that still going to be an avenue to get yourself on the PGA Tour? Now, you know, you look at Brooks. Brooks went over there, played their challenge tour, and, you know, got his DP World card, got his card there, and then got in the top 50 for good play. And, you know, I've always said it's easier to go over there and work your way through the ranks and get yourself in that world ranking. I mean, it's been proven the fields are much deeper over here. You know, the Korn Ferry Tour is deeper than the DP World Tour. They're more good players. I mean, that's just a fact. You could go to Europe, go that route, and it'll be interesting to see. Are they gonna incorporate the DP World Tour different spots? You know, I mean, how it all is going to come together is going to be interesting. But that's an avenue, but that's tough,
Right?
Because you're traveling to a different country every week.
Yeah,
Travel is brutal. You know, it's an expensive way to go. You know, what are they going to do with these lower tours, that Canadian tour, South America tour, all these little tours that, you know,
we're going to have to
promote
find out.
you up to the next level. I mean, how's that all going to work out? And another how to come up with $4 million for the challenge tour? How about just rounding it off to 5?
Right. Well, we're going to have to stay tuned in to Let's Go Low here right on AM 820. We'll bring back Mike Hicks on the Caddie Corner. Thanks a lot, Tampa. Let's go low.